Hi everyone, I'm Marcy, the Snack Attack Lady. Today on Snack Attack, we're going to make the third and final recipe from our MAX submissions. That's the Manchester Academic Charter School right here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now the young lady that submitted this recipe was a little camera shy, so she didn't want to do it at the school like the other two did. But Sharae is an 8th grader, and she submitted a recipe for what she called two-sided toast. Well, we don't do toast here on Snack Attack because of the electricity and burning and those kinds of dangers. So what I was able to find to make this recipe work was these nice little crisp flatbread, multi-grain, which is always best because we always want half our grains to be whole grains. Now what we're going to do with this is we've got 2 slices, and on one side we're going to do peanut butter and bananas and a little bit of granola, and on the other side we're going to do yogurt, fresh berries, and again a little bit of the granola. Now, it doesn't sound like it's going to be real complicated, but we're actually going to make fresh granola right here on Snack Attack. So that's going to be the tricky part. A lot of things when you microwave them, you can just kind of stick them in the microwave and forget about them. Not the case with this one, so I'm going to show you how that's going to work out. But first, we're going to start off by taking our crisp bread, and we've got one side's got these nice, pretty grains on it, and the other side's just kind of got some cornmeal on it. That's the side we're going to spread the goodies on. We're going to start off with some all-natural peanut butter. Spread that on one side. Now, I like crunchy peanut butter, but you can certainly use smooth. It doesn't have to be all-natural peanut butter, but that's what I like to use just because I like to use as natural, as whole foods as possible, whenever possible. But any kind of peanut butter will do. Your favorite kind of peanut butter is always good. Clean my knife off so I can use that to chop up the berries and the bananas later. Now on the other side, we're going to spread a little bit of strawberry Greek yogurt. When Sharae submitted this recipe, I was really surprised that all the different flavors and textures that she got out of this recipe. So I definitely wanted to make sure we got this in there, even though she didn't want to be in the videos. So like I said, on the yogurt side, we're going to cut up some fresh strawberries and some blueberries. Now you can use pomegranate arrows, you can use raspberries, you can use whatever kind of berries that you're able to get and that you happen to like. You want to cut them into slices so that they lay nicely on the crisp bread. Now if you can't find crisp bread, you can just use whole grain bread and cut it into slices. You can use Ritz crackers or any other kind of cracker that you like. Whatever, you can use pretty much anything. I just was lucky enough to find these crisp breads to use for it. All right, I think that's enough for strawberries. A little up on this for me. Cut up a couple blueberries. Now you can try to make little designs on there. When I tried this recipe before, I had little round toasts and I was able to make a little design, but it's a little trickier on square to use round fruit on square. Okay, I think that's plenty for me. Again, you do how much you like. That's one benefit of making your own snacks, is you can kind of do as much or as little as you like. We're going to take our banana. We're not going to need the whole thing for this. So we're just going to cut a few slices for our peanut butter side. Stick those right on there. I don't know if you guys know very much about Elvis, but he was known for being a fan of peanut butter and bananas. And I've heard bacon too, but I can't confirm that. But I do know peanut butter and bananas, so we're paying a little tribute to Elvis Presley here too. All right, now the fun part, the granola. Granola is nice because you can make as much or as little as you think you're going to need, and it'll keep. Whatever you don't use will keep for parfaits or toppings for just a plain bowl of yogurt later. So we've got some rolled oats, quick cook. Steel cut oats really won't work for this just because they don't have the right texture for microwave granola. I've got some chopped walnuts. I bought them already chopped, but if you have walnut halves, you can just take them in a plastic bag and crunch them up right in your hand to make small little pieces like this. I've done it before. If an arthritic old lady like me can do it, all you young kids can do it. Instead of butter, we're going to use coconut oil. That's going to give us that nice oily, fatty texture to it. Excuse me, I'm throwing things all over. Without adding all the saturated fats that you get in butter. Just a little pinch of salt, just because it always helps bring out the sweetness. And instead of sugar, we're going to use honey. Now the reason we use honey instead of sugar, you're going to get about 2 tablespoons of sugar in there. But honey, it breaks down into simpler sugars than table sugar. So it's a lot easier for our bodies to digest, and it's a better glycemic index, aka it's a little bit healthier. So what we're going to do with this is, rather than stick it in the microwave for the whole 2 minutes, we're going to do it in 30-second intervals. So 30 seconds. And the first 30 seconds are really important because that melts that coconut oil and gets everything kind of all warmed up. And then we're going to toss everything together and just kind of keep an eye on it for the next 30 seconds at a time until it's nice and toasty. Believe it or not, it actually does get a little toasty. If you let it get too toasty, though, it burns. So you do have to keep an eye on it. All right, and our first 30 seconds is just about up. I've said before, you know, when we're waiting on the microwave, I kind of need a little song or a little something to kind of keep me busy. So if you've got any suggestions, go to our website, go to the contact me page, and send me some suggestions of things you'd like to see me do while the microwave's running. Keep it nice because this is a family show. All right, so you can see everything's all nice and melty together. The honey's nice and liquidy. The coconut oil's nice and liquidy. And we're just going to give that a quick stir. Pop that back in the microwave for another 30 seconds. The overall process does take about 2 to 2.5 minutes, depending on the power of your microwave and things like that. Another thing we can do while we're waiting for the microwave is go ahead and clear up some of our dishes. That way when Mom comes home from work, she doesn't have a big mess to deal with. Or Dad or Grandma and Grandpa or whoever's taking care of you. And if you like, you can make them a nice little snack too. Okay. Excuse me. All right, let's see how we're doing here. All right, still pretty pale, so we want to give it another quick toss. Back in the microwave. And I'm going to spread out a couple of paper towels so that when it is ready, we can spread that out to cool a little bit. Little story about the granola. My youngest daughter, Lily, just turned 6 years old, so happy belated birthday, Lillian. But she likes to put the granola on everything. And one time she was putting it on her cereal, and she's like, Mom, I can't taste the granola. So I checked what kind of cereal she had. She had Honey Bunches of Oats, which kind of already has granola in it. So I was like, well, you got to kind of pick what you're going to put the granola on if you want to taste the granola. If it already has granola in it, it's going to be a little tricky. But with what we're doing, the granola is going to add a nice toasty, crunchy element to what we're doing. It's going to be really yummy. And again, like I said, it stores nicely in Ziploc bags, and you can use it on just about anything, except cereal. Also, if you go to my website, you see I've got a nice new Snack Attack t-shirt. You can order Snack Attack t-shirts, mugs, other merchandise right on my website. I do get a little bit of money for every item sold, and that all goes right back into Snack Attack. So not only do you get to support a cool shirt, but you get to help support what we're doing here too. All right, we're getting pretty close. I can see it's starting to get a little bit toasty in places. So probably one more shot ought to just about do us. Hate when that plate comes off like that. Now, like I said, this recipe and the 2 recipes I posted last time We're all submitted by students at Manchester Academic Charter School. If you've got an idea for a snack or a recipe that you'd like to try out, send it in. Again, my email address is on the website. I'd love to hear what you've got to say, hear what your ideas are. Tell me what some of your favorite foods are that you'd like to try. And if I use your idea, I'll be certain to give you credit on the video. All right, let's see how we're doing here. All right, that's good. You can see it's just starting to brown. If we go any longer, that's going to start to burn. So that's just going to be where we're going to leave it, right there. I'm going to spread it out on a paper towel. You can use parchment paper if you have it. And I know it's not smell-o-vision, but it's got a nice toasty smell to it. All right. Now, ideally, we'd like to let that cool just a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of this on our crackers here, our toast. And there we are, Sharae's two-sided toast.